It can be really confusing when you're trying to relocate to the Central Florida area and you have no idea where to go. So I decided to break it down over a map today and tell you the areas that I think you should consider moving to when relocating to Tampa. So let's get to it. I'm Emily. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in the state of Florida, and I live in the Tampa St. Pete area. And this channel is dedicated to all things living, working, playing, sleeping, eating, and especially the real estate market in Central Florida. So if that resonates with you, go ahead and click that subscribe button and that notification bell. That really helps me out a lot. But it also lets you know when I'm dropping new videos weekly. Also, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button. And don't forget, you can always comment below. I do read them all. I get to them when I can, and I'm really enjoying the conversations in the comments. And as always, if you have any real estate related questions or needs, I can't help you if you don't reach out to me. So click my links below. You can jump on my calendar, and things are getting really busy. So let's get that conversation going and get you your game plan for relocating to Tampa. All right, so today what I'm gonna do is split my screen so that you can take a look at a map, and we're gonna go over the Tampa area together. So let's take a look at this map of Tampa and let's break it down a little bit. I'm going to focus on a couple of areas for you, and just keep in mind there's going to be some links in the description to help you with, school ratings, crime ratings, things like that. I will also be talking about the MLS a little bit and some of the average home prices as well. So I wanted to start today in an area that I actually went to show a home over the weekend in Wesley Chapel. Wesley Chapel was always part of the Zephyrhills area, right? So back in the day, all of East Florida, all of East Tampa was primarily agriculture. And again, lots of farming, lots of horses, that sort of thing. And as obviously Tampa expanded and grew, they started to really start developing this area more. So when I moved back here, I had no idea what's Wesley Chapel. I'd never heard of it. So they basically just divided parts of Zephyrhills. Parts of Wesley Chapel will still have the Zephyrhills zip code. Don't let that scare you. It's still Wesley Chapel. So if we go into Wesley Chapel a little bit, there's definitely some neighborhoods in here that I think are great. So here you see 75 going north. And this area right here is a really great area. You'll see the MI Homes is starting to develop there. And that is 54. 54 is one of the main roads. And then down here is 56. You really can't go wrong if you're searching in this corridor right here. You're gonna find some really great homes. This is where all the shopping is. There's some breweries, kind of sprinkled around, your big box stores, but it's gonna feel more spread out. It's definitely more nature. You're gonna be driving with, 4 lanes on either side with lots of tree-lined roads. And then every so often, you're gonna see an intersection or another kind of strip mall area where you've got your big Targets and your Best Buys and that sort of thing. You're not gonna find so much those cute little eclectic shops and stores. That's not really in this area. This is very suburban. This is an area that is pretty much becoming the next Tampa. So let me scroll out a little bit. I went over here into this area with a client of mine because if you are looking for land, or if you're looking for unincorporated neighborhoods, no HOAs, you have an RV, you have big toys, boats, and that sort of thing, this is going to be the area you most certainly are going to be able to park those things, because you're going to have at least 1 acre to 2 acres and sometimes up to 10 acres in this area. We were looking at a property that had a minimum of 3 acres, and then she was thinking about buying the property next door that had another 3 acres, and she's 20 minutes from Wesley Chapel where her son goes to school. So it can happen. And these areas, again, they're older homes, they're going to have trailers on them. So if you're looking for land, you know the deal. You can either get rid of that trailer or you can build your own home on it. If you're lucky, you can find a home that needs a little love. The home that we looked at would need about $200,000 in renovations. So we said, no on that. But it's definitely an area you need to keep on your radar. And then let's move a little bit west to another area called Land O' Lakes. And you can see why. See all those little blue areas? Those are little lakes and ponds. Lots of nature, lots of parks. Again, it's just it's adjacent to Wesley Chapel, so you're going to get a lot of the same feel. A lot of those, nature preserves along the roads, and then all of a sudden you're going to see big box stores at the corner. Good. I do believe there's some good schools up here. A lot of people tell me that. Again, don't go by me. I don't have children. You're going to have to click the links below, either niche.com or neighborhoods.com. But you are going to see a lot like this trampoline park, a lot more kid-friendly up here, family-oriented, lots of golfing up here as well. More country clubs and all these tree areas right here are all the parks. Because you are not close to the beach, if you're not a beach person and it's not really your main reason for coming to Florida, this area is something that I would definitely check out when you're coming to visit. Not to mention just south of that is Lutz. And again, it's kind of got the same vibe. You're just a little bit more closer to town. This area in general is a very kind of feels out of the can I get the word out of my mouth? You're out of the city. Okay, so this is if you're interested in nature, you want a little bit more land. You don't want to be right up next to your neighbor. You're probably going to find a house that's got a pool already. Most of the houses in these developments came with pools. If you don't have a pool though, don't forget you can always put one in. Don't worry about that. So Lutz, another great area just south of Land O'Lakes. Let's head more south now, down 75 that turns into 275. And let's dive into this little area. This is where I grew up. This is Greater Northdale, Greater Carrollwood, and Lake Magdalene. So I grew up in Carrollwood Village. It was a wonderful place to live. Again, the normal shops. There was a shopping center, 2 minutes down the road from where I lived. You're still able to bike. Kids can bike on the sidewalk, even though there's, street traffic going on. There's the Carrollwood Country Club that's now like a big resort where you can stay. I think you can actually live in some of the condos over there. There's just a lot to do in Carrollwood. And again, giving you that suburban feel. You're going to get a little bit more of the smaller stores, like neighborhood eclectic stores and restaurants. But you're also going to be able to shop at the big box stores like your Walmarts and your Targets. Actually, Dale Mabry and Ehrlich is a wonderful shopping area where you basically can have Walmart on one side, a Publix on the other, a Target on one side, Best Buy on the other, and you just keep going up. And there's a TJ Maxx and a Whole Foods. It's great. Northdale's basically the expansion of Carrollwood. There wasn't a lot going on when I was growing up as you were going north, so it kind of stopped right over here. But now it's all developed, and again, very beautiful area to live. It looks nice, clean. I think you're gonna have some pretty decent schools here. Again, check that out for yourself. You're close to hospitals, and you have a lot to do. You have Lake Park, lots of trails. I do believe one of the Upper Tampa Bay trails, you have access up here. I have to double check that for you. But there are definitely biking trails and a little bit more of that suburban life. And again, if we go down a little bit on my map, we're gonna go over here to Citrus Park. So Sickles High School, from what I'm hearing, is kind of the next high school that everybody's looking to get their kids into, besides in South Tampa, Plant High School. South Tampa is very hard to get a house in at this time. Anything under even close to $1 million is almost impossible. Citrus Park is a great area. My brother used to play baseball in Citrus Park. You'll see there's the old Memorial Golf Club over there. And there's a mall, Citrus Park Mall is over there. It's a very nice, clean mall. And again, more of those big box shops, very suburban. It has a little bit more of that marshy feel, in my opinion, because of some of these lakes, compared to Carrollwood that just has some little ponds, and a lot of them are man-made. But as you're moving into Citrus Park, there are a little bit more of that, kind of those mossy trees and that sort of thing. but not as much as in the northern part of Tampa. And as we go down south, we also hit an area that's pretty popular called West Chase. So I really look at West Chase, Citrus Park, Carrollwood, and Northdale as its own little area. So if people are looking within this vicinity, you can definitely find something really great. West Chase is its own little community. It became sort of the place to move to in the 80s. Lots of wonderful communities, gated communities. They have their own golf course there as well, and club with a pool. And they've got Alonzo High School is nearby, and they've also got a middle school. I think is it Martinez Middle School? Maybe I'll double check that. So again, very suburban. You're close to the airport, and in Citrus Park, West Chase are very close to the airport. If you're trying to commute in and out of town for work, so put that on your list. I think that's another great area if you're trying not to get too far north in Tampa and you want to stay a little more southwest, getting closer to those beaches. Because keep in mind, when you are looking at Wesley Chapel up here, to get to a beach, it's a good hour. And that beach is somewhere in Tarpon Springs. It's not even one of the popular beaches. There's still beautiful beaches in that area, but you really have to go. The first beach that I would recommend is going to Honeymoon Island, which is right over here. And that's in Dunedin, just south of Palm Harbor. And you take the Dunedin Causeway over. So if beaching is your thing, you're gonna wanna stay more west on 275. Keep that in mind. And now let's move just to East Tampa a bit, just east of downtown. There's two areas that people are looking to move to based on the fact that if they have to commute to either downtown Tampa or they have to go into St. Pete, it's just a little easier of a commute than up north, but it's still trafficy. These little neighborhoods were one of the first, or suburbs, let's call them, to get developed when Tampa started getting too crowded. People started to go east, again, like they did in the northeast part of town. They started to do the same in the southeast part of town. So right here, there's an area right off of 60 there called Brandon. And then just below that is a Riverview. And these areas were in Velrico is over there as well, Bloomingdale, pretty good. I'm also gonna talk about Fishhawk, which is down here, and Boyette. These are now becoming really great neighborhoods as well. So this little corridor right here is an area you should definitely check out if you don't need to be in, Tampa proper. And beaches, you're gonna have to travel more south to get to a pretty decent beach. If that's okay with you, put that on your list. Let's talk about Brandon. Brandon has Brandon Mall. They've got some breweries going in. They've got a bunch of those big box stores as well. There is some traffic though. And I would say it's not as plush as like Wesley Chapel and West Chase, but it's coming around. They're building these really huge new construction communities, and they have been for several years now. And so it's starting to kind of shift the landscape a little bit, because this was an area notoriously for distribution centers. So you're going to see a lot more of the big rigs, trucks. You're going to see, just a lot of that going up and down to get to 75. So I would call it's more like an average neighborhood, and you could probably find something more affordable within Brandon and Riverview, but that is starting to shift a little as well. So let's go down to Riverview, because there are some neighborhoods in here that I do like. I really love Fishhawk, and I'm going to tell you why. Fishhawk has taken its little stamp right here and really done great things. It's beautiful. They've got lots of little lakes down here. And let me tell you, where there's a development, there's always a Publix shopping center. That is our grocery store, and Publix buys the land where they put their store. So most of the time they have really great shopping within their shopping centers. There's usually like a good pizza place. You know, by the way, Publix has the best subs and the best Cuban sandwiches around. I do like Cuban sandwiches in other restaurants, but if in a pinch, I go to Publix. There is also Fishhawk Creek Elementary School and lots of good Newsom High School. These are good schools in here, very suburban, very clean, very like not like the normal. You know, if you're looking for really good curb appeal and nice houses, big communities and that sort of thing, Fishhawk, put that on your list, as well as Boyette. Boyette's kind of coming around. It's still been a little bit more agricultural feel. You're gonna pass through some trailer parks, but we have really actually nice trailer parks. They're not bad. Moving through there because, again, people owned land. And so as we move into Riverview, I categorize Riverview a little bit more with Brandon. Again, not that kind of clean landscaping, because most of the communities between Riverview and Brandon, unless they specify within their communities, some of the older communities don't have the HOAs or they're unincorporated, so they don't have to keep up the outside of their houses as well. That's the downside of going into an unincorporated or no HOA community. Nobody's held to any standard. If that's fine with you because you're going to get an RV or you're going to get a bunch of toys and you want to be able to park them where you want, go for it. Riverview, Brandon, that's going to be an easier, those are going to be easier neighborhoods for you to do that within. But some of these newer communities, new construction communities with HOAs and CDDs, they are going to have more restrictions. So keep that in mind. All right, well, let's head over now all the way to the west side of Tampa, over on the Gulf Coast, and let's talk about a couple of neighborhoods that I really love over there. I've done a couple of videos on, actually 2 videos, and I broke it up. I talked about Tarpon Springs, Palm Harbor, Dunedin, Safety Harbor, which is right in here. And then I talked about Oldsmar and East Lake, and those are some really great little neighborhoods. So let's dive in a little bit to these. Let me talk to you a little bit about them. I'll do a brief overview on Tarpon Springs because I do have a video about these areas that you can go take a look at. But Tarpon Springs and Palm Harbor and Safety Harbor and let's say East Lake. So let's say Tarpon Springs, East Lake, Oldsmar, Dunedin. This area has notoriously been exclusively retirees for a long time. That has obviously changed. Everybody's moving here, people with kids. These are great school districts, by the way, on this side of town. And you're so close to the water. And if you're lucky, you actually might get a canal with a water view. You've also got Lake Tarpon right here in the middle, great fishing. And East Lake has its own East Lake golf course. There's also Innisbrook golf course. If golfing is your thing, there's a lot to do over there. And then, of course, as you move down from Palm Harbor to Dunedin, you're really getting into some cool little neighborhoods with a little bit more eclectic feel, really great main streets with lots of wonderful shopping and restaurants. And then, of course, as I mentioned before, you've got one of my favorite beaches of all time. I probably should be telling people this. It's going to get crowded this summer. Honeymoon Island and Caladesi Island. Honeymoon Island you can access from the Dunedin Causeway. There's always a line. Over the weekends, there's always a line. Get there early. And it will close at a specific time. It's usually about $8 to get in. You can also take a ferry. Once you get over here, you can take a ferry to Caladesi over here. Caladesi Island was created from one of our hurricanes back in the 90s, and it's a really great little area as well. And it sits right here at the top of Clearwater Beach. So if we go back in and talk a little bit about these areas, again, you're going to have a lot more young professionals. You're going to have a little bit more diversity in what the homes look like. Some of them are starting to be flipped, because they were built in the 80s. So they definitely, some have some love inside, some need some love. It's just really depending on your price point. You can get a pretty decent home with some square footage especially in the Palm Harbor area, under 400. Now they may need a little work, but look how close you are to the beach. Not to mention, let's go back up to Tarpon Springs for a second. Tarpon Springs has Howard Park Beach, and it's got Sunset Beach. You're gonna have some of the best sunset views and some real great water right there in Tarpon Springs. And when you go into Tarpon Springs a little bit more, you see all of these little rivers or, offshoots from the ocean, actually from the Gulf, Gulf, not ocean. Everybody gets mad at me when I say that. There are a lot of opportunities to have homes right in here that will take you all the way out to the Gulf. So it's another wonderful area. It's starting to turn because people have not wanted to go that far north. If you work in Tampa, this is a hellish commute. If you work in St. Pete, it's a hellish commute. But if you're working from home, or you're traveling in and out of Tampa, it's worth a shot to take a look at Tarpon Springs. And I would say the same for Palm Harbor. Palm Harbor, again, look, you're gonna see this Copperhead Course, there's all these parks, and the Pinellas Trail, don't forget, one of my favorite things I talk about in a lot of my videos when I talk about the west side of Tampa is the Pinellas Trail that runs all the way north and south up here, and you can hop on and hop off with your kids and your family. There's places to eat along the way. There's also breweries along the way, and you can also get to some of these little points where you can go take a look at the Gulf. In Palm Harbor, you're going to have a lot more opportunity to shop and have some of those, again, big box stores. There's lots of strip malls with lots of big shops in them and a little smattering of local flair, let's call it. And if we go over this way into East Lake has its own little community nestled right in here. You're going to have a little bit more higher end homes, gated communities, the country club with the golf course and the swimming and the tennis and all of that. So it's also a wonderful little neighborhood. They've got great schools as well. And if you go all the way north here, you hit another area called Keystone, which is someplace I love as well, another neighborhood I love. And if you go south, we're gonna go over here to Oldsmar for a second. Oldsmar, again, we have Tampa Bay Downs, we have a driving range, we have breweries over here. It's a smaller little town, but you get this bay feel here at Mobley Bay, and they have their own little Mobley Bayou Beach Park right here. And over here, there's also a little park where you can look at the sunset. Lots to do right here. Lots of animal sanctuaries and zip lining and dog parks and great food. I live just west of Oldsmar, and I shop in this area all the time, and I eat primarily in this area because they've got some really great restaurants. And then you're just really quick over here. This is my favorite. You can see it's coming up because I'm there a lot. I go to this AMC. There's a really great restaurant right here called Shaker and Peel. Highly recommend it if you like tacos. But you have also Craft Street Kitchen, and again, great shopping right in here. Let's go down to Safety Harbor. So Safety Harbor is just south of that East Lake area and just southwest of Oldsmar, and it's right here. It also kind of, hugs this part of Mobley Bay opening up to Tampa Bay. And you see this Philippi Park right here. It's a great place to take the kids. My boyfriend and I kayak off of there a lot. There's a lot of, right here, this little road has openings to the mangroves. You can launch your kayak, stand-up paddleboard, or anything like that right here, and there's like a little beach. So you could basically, pop your trunk, you have all your toys, put them on the beach, put a chair down, go paddle your little life away, come back, sit, have a drink, and watch the sunset. It's beautiful. And a little bit further down, you're gonna go into the Main Street part of Safety Harbor. Again, a beautiful little day trip, fun place. There's always a festival going on. And there's Safety Harbor Resort and Spa, which is really great. It's got this water view. And there's a park adjacent to it with the pier. And this is where the festivals usually happen. And all up and down Main Street, there's wonderful little shops. Look at that, stores, Giggle Waters, that's a fun place. Lots of great food. I go to Barfly a lot. They've got amazing food. And the houses in this area are really cute and quaint, and lots of colorful, different kinds of houses. Again, some of them need a little love. Some of them have already been flipped. You might get lucky. And then let's go over to the last but not least, my favorite west little town called Dunedin. And Dunedin is just south of Palm Harbor. And there's a little area up here called Ozona. Ozona Fish Camp is really awesome. There's Ozona Blue, which is where you can sit and watch the water and eat a really great meal with your family. And there's Molly Goodhead's, which is one of my favorite beachy dive bars around. And in this community, everybody drives a golf cart. It's really fun. But just south of that is Dunedin. What I like about Dunedin for people is that you have lots to do all up and down here, not to mention access to the beach. And you have the Pinellas Trail right here. So you can take the Pinellas Trail all the way down into the main street. Oh, wait a minute, I went too far. Sorry. You can go all the way down to the main street of Dunedin. And the main street has wonderful little shops. It's a great place to take out of towners. They've got one of my favorite Mexican restaurants there. And we go to breweries along there as well. We've taken friends who are out of town. We did a brewery hop. You can get a great lobster roll. Some of the best grilled grouper sandwiches. We're known for our grouper sandwiches here, so you got to have one. But you can also go down here to the Edge Park, and there's these waterfront places that we love too. Old Bay is my absolute favorite. I've talked about that in another video. This is a marina, so lots of boats, beautiful views, beautiful sunsets, and then you can walk. It's an easy walk up Main Street to all of these fabulous little stores. Like you see Dunedin Brewery, lots of stuff. I could go on and on and on. Casatina, one of my favorite places as well. There's another sushi restaurant I love. There's the Clear Drought House. I've had beers there. I've had beers at the Woodwright. It's all, and that trail is right here. I went to the Lucky Lobster. It's really, really fun. And it's a great thing to do with your friends and your family. It's kid friendly. It's just got a little bit of everything. I wouldn't recommend living very much near or close to the main street. It's a little too congested on the weekends because there's always a festival. When I say there's always a festival, there's always a festival. Always. So the great thing is there's wonderful little neighborhoods all around this area. You cannot go wrong in any of this area. Actually, I'll scroll out a little bit. There's more. So really Dunedin, well, Ozona, but then right here, this is Curlew Road is at 585. I don't have my glasses on, so got 585 or 586. Hold on. Curlew Road is 586. And of course, you've got the Dunedin golf course there, golf club. And all of this, all the way down. Countryside Mall's over there. So if you need your mall fix, lots of big box stores, lots of shopping, close to everything. And you guys, you're a hop, skip, and a jump to Clearwater Beach. So it really has the best of everything, except if you're looking to commute. Sorry. It is an easier commute if you're going to commute to St. Pete. But if you have to commute to Tampa, honestly, Dunedin is not as bad as living in Tarpon, but it's still going to give you, I would say anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour commute into downtown Tampa, if not more, depending. Our traffic has gotten really bad lately, again, with everybody moving here, and snowbird season. So a lot of people are here, and now we're running into spring break. So traffic is really atrocious lately. But if you don't have to think too much about commuting, it's not that bad. So that's about it. I did a real wide sweep for you. Again, trying to help educate you on areas as well as, the feel and the look and the things to do in these neighborhoods. Appreciate it. And as always, it would be really great if you could hit that like button for me and that subscribe button and notification bell. That also notifies you when I'm dropping new videos. And as always, if you have any real estate related questions, please reach out to me. I can't help you if you don't contact me. My links are below. The best thing to do, jump on my calendar and let's talk for about 30 minutes and let me see what I can do to help you with your plan. And as always, everybody, I really appreciate you coming and checking out my channel. And until next time, I'll see you around.